Our featured guest tonight is one of country's music rising stars with a killer voice and a social media fandom that has exploded in the past 2 years. The now famous video of him imitating different famous country artists went viral. And since then, he and his wife have amassed millions of views and followers across their social media. To top it all off, he will be nearby in Orange Beach on May 14 to play at the Wharf with none other than Tim McGraw and Russell Dickerson. Here to talk about his incredible story and his music is Brandon Davis. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Man, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Before this interview, we were talking a little bit about the fact that we're based here in Mobile, Alabama, and you're going to be playing less than an hour away in Orange Beach in the next couple of months. But researching for this interview, I think it's safe to say that none of this happens without your wife, Destiny. So how did you guys meet?
Believe it or not, we met through Facebook. So she came up as people you may know, and I'll just be honest. I thought she was hot. I thought she was beautiful, and I friended her and sent her a message saying, "Hey, how are you?"
So you truly did slide into her DMs on Facebook, and that's how you guys started talking.
Yep. I just wanted to see if I could spark a conversation and it lead to anything. And thankfully, she actually responded. We talked for a few days, and one thing led to another, and I finally convinced her to go out on a date with me.
Now, that trick of sliding into somebody's DMs is not supposed to actually work. So if we asked your wife, what do you think she would say about that method and why it somehow worked with you in particular? Because it's not supposed to work.
She claims I was cute, but I've seen pictures of me when I first met her, and I don't know if I'd say the same about myself. I definitely I married up. Let's put it that way. I feel like I really married up.
Well, and I know you said what attracted you initially to her was, you said, quote, she was hot, and it does always help to be easy on the eye. But we all know there's got to be more to it than that. What eventually hooked you?
Well, as soon as I started messaging her, one of the first messages that we started kind of going back and forth about was that she was remodeling her and her mother's rental house that they were moving into. And she was like, "Yeah, I've got all these projects. I'm wanting to do this and this and this," and was kind of giving me a walk down. And I was like, that is awesome. Like, I love doing projects. I love somebody that, really gets into, anything that's hands-on work. And we really kind of bonded over that because that was something to this day, like that she's always the one that's trying to be creative and create something new. I've always had the engineer brain because that's what I went to school for. And we really work well together when it comes to that. We can butt heads at the same time, but it's something that immediately kind of drew me into her. And then just watching how amazing of a mother she was, because I knew right off the bat there were already two beautiful kids in the picture. And thinking that you're walking into something like that, it's a whole new world. But I don't know, it was weird talking to her. I immediately just had no worries or fears about it. It was just, everything about this just feels right.
So that starts this journey. You get married, you're doing normal life. Then, if I'm not mistaken, your life almost ends in a head-on collision, right?
Yes, sir.
What happened, and how did that experience change the trajectory of your life?
Well, I got hit head-on by a distracted driver at a red light, and I had to be rushed to the hospital. It was emergency surgery. It was either go under and let them do a scope to see what was wrong, or risk going septic from the colon that had ruptured that nobody yet knew about. And whenever I came out and I realized what all they had to do, it was just kind of a shock of like, what in the world really just happened to me? Why did it happen? And why did it happen to me? Of all people, why did I have to go through that? And I couldn't understand that. I didn't know if I had done something. And all this stuff starts running through your head when you just eventually come to the realization, like, look, it happened. That's just that's what you have to take away, is that it happened. It's not why, but how are you going to come back from this? What does it help you to kind of focus on and have clarity with? And for me, it was realizing the fact that life is really short. Whether anybody likes to think of that as a cliche or something you hear a lot of people say, it really is. It's short, and we don't realize how small of a time we have to really spend doing what we want to do. And I always tell my kids every day, like, look, you don't have a long time on this earth. So while you're here, chase your dreams, do what you want to do. If you've got goals, go after them. And all the while, I'm telling advice to my children that I'm not following by myself. And that moment was kind of the eye opener. Like, look, you can't keep telling them this, and you're just sitting here, standing still. So we decided it was time to make a change of that.
So fast forward a little, and a little app called TikTok comes around. Your wife thinks it could help get your name out there, and she runs up on you in the now famous Jukebox Artist Challenge video. Tell me the story behind that.
Well, we had tried the whole, kick the artist thing off the ground and really find a foundation that we could really, kind of spring off of. And we hadn't found that yet. And amidst trying to make that happen, a pandemic hit and we were all, adjusting to a new world. But her, like everybody else, really took to, hey, look, the only connection I've got with the outside world is connecting to people through my phone and social media. And she found TikTok. And through TikTok, she started seeing different artists promoting music. She thought, I've got an idea. We can do it through this because there's a lot of people getting on here. And I just straight up told her, I was like, nope, it's not for me. Can't do it. Sorry. I've seen ads. It's just that it looks like an app for people that are definitely younger than I am. She's like, you're 26. They're not that much younger than you are. I was like, well, I feel old. I said, look, it's people doing funny stuff and trying to dance. I was like, I got two left feet and dad jokes. Nobody wants to see that. And finally, after a little bit of convincing, she said, look, we're driving home from a Dollywood trip on Father's Day, and you have 2.5 hours in the car with me and nowhere to go. So you're going to sing, I'm going to record you. And then what I do with it after that, you'll just have to wait and see. So I did it. We started recording a few videos, and she recorded a couple more when we got home. Kind of shocked me at the fridge. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I think I was in basketball shorts, a cutoff, and my adult league ball cap, just trying to grab a bottle of water before bed. And she comes running up behind me, hollering for me to sing, saying, baby, 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 do Brad Paisley, do Chris Stapleton. And I just pretty much said, okay, well, this is what she's asking, so give her what she's asking for. And tried my best to sing whatever song came to mind for each artist. And the next day she said, look, I did something. And shows me her phone with, a video that's got like 1,600 views, which at the time for me was a lot. Like I wasn't used to more than 500 or 600.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really cool. I was like, man, you know what? Give me the login info. I'm going to get on this thing. I'm going to see what this is all about. And a few hours later, I logged in and freaked out, texting her saying, look, that video's got 20,000 views. And then it blew up from there to, hundreds of thousands to well over 1 million. And it just exploded.
Had you ever practiced imitating those artists before? And the reason I ask is I do a few musical impressions and even a country one. And so I know it either comes from imitating them when their songs come on the radio over and over again, or a lot of practice, or a little of both. Had you ever practiced imitating them before?
Well, I mean, when it comes to imitation, all I try to do is hear in my head what the song was supposed to sound like. And it sounds weird, but just it's almost like trying to make a face, except you're doing it with your voice instead. And I had a little bit of practice with like some Brad Paisley stuff and a little bit of Chris Stapleton. We had a opera house out here in Birchwood, Tennessee, and people wanted to hear those covers, but my dad said they're coming here to hear exactly what they heard on the radio. So we're going to sing it like it's on the radio. So that's what we tried to do. If we were singing a Brad Paisley song, we did it like Brad Paisley. Same with George Jones and so on. So a little bit of it was some previous practice, and the others were, I hope this works. Dierks Bentley and Jason Aldean probably being the two most unfamiliar for me, like trying to sing like anybody.
So I love watching the way you and Destiny interact on your videos. And I'm kind of curious if there's one piece of off the beaten path relationship advice you'd recommend to everyone.
Man, just really truly try to have fun and try to make sure that you're showing exactly how you feel, sharing how you feel, and making sure that the others is able to just have a balanced life. Like you want to be able to be there for each other in the good and the bad, and be yourself without having to worry about, any kind of a conflict on trying to bottle up feelings or trying to act like someone else just to make somebody happier. It goes on and on, but it's just really about showing your true heart, showing your true self, and having fun with one another, and remembering that you're not just married, you're not just a couple, you can be best friends and love each other all the while, and it makes life a whole lot more fun.
So, Brandon, we got to go to a quick commercial break, pay the bills. Can you stick around to the flip side?
Yes, sir.